Beyond 3D.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Beyond 3D, back from his assignment in Southeast Asia. Clint is with us, so how's it going this week, Clint?
Hello.
That good, huh?
No, it was very, very good. I, for some reason, didn't manage to make... The reason I went there was to visit a spiritual healer.
Yes.
And it didn't happen. It didn't happen, and I just have to put it down to a fact that it wasn't meant to be.
Absolutely.
So the gentleman's name, who I was really looking forward to spending some time with, he's the spiritual healer. His name is Ketut Lier, and roughly about $40 Australian to spend a little bit of time with him. But yeah, he's in his 90s, and the guy that who was taking us around, he speaks great English, Mudu. He said to me that in between me planning to go see him and me arriving, that he had suffered really bad dementia, and he was no longer practicing. So I kind of missed out.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, but you know what?
But it's the way, as you said.
It is what it is.
That's exactly right.
It is what it is.
You can't get around that.
I'm happy to be home.
Well, that's good. Overall, nice trip?
Yeah, nice trip. Yeah. Can I just say last week's show was phenomenal too. I was listening.
Oh, thanks. That was cool.
Really great interview.
That was Stan Deo, and actually in the next couple of weeks you'll be hearing his name a little bit more. And I can't say anything right now, but
really?
there's a reason, yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
There is a reason, which is really good. But I loved the fact that one point that he did make that I was fascinated by when he said it. We were talking with our friend Mark about what was going on up in Pine Gap. And what he stated was something that really struck me when he said that in order to get the well water that they needed, they had to go down basically 5 miles.
Well, that's what Mark was talking about, wasn't it?
How far down they would have to go to get well water in the desert. So what he basically said was interesting information to me, and it validated a few things that I've always thought. But digressing, don't need to go there. This is this week's Beyond 3D, and what we're going to do is a little bit more self-indulgence as far as I am concerned. And one of my favorite musicians...
Hang on. No.
Yeah.
No.
No?
No. Yes, absolutely, but no. Give me 1 sec. I just remembered something.
Okay, go ahead.
I purposefully checked out the bookshops at both Tullamarine Airport at Melbourne International Airport,
yes,
and Denpasar Airport.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what were the most popular books? And there were many different authors on the one person. Guess who?
Oh, I haven't known that.
Well,
Trump?
Oh, you're very warm.
No, not the other one.
Yes, she.
Really?
Yes. Multiple copies of different books written by different authors, all about the Queen of America.
Oh, my.
Hillary Rodham Clinton. The first Madam President.
Oh, boy.
Books, Matt. Actually, you know, I've got a picture of it.
Yes.
I took a photo.
Wow.
So I'm going to pop it on Facebook right now.
They're pumping it out all over the place. Oh, man.
And yeah, if you just wait a second, it's just uploading. Okay.
There you go. I'll tell you what.
There you go.
Gosh, good
Look at those three different books by 3 different authors, and I actually purposely went and lined them up.
Oh, my goodness.
Just there, and I just went, this is ridiculous.
Oh, my.
Already programming people for what's to come.
Exactly. That's annoying, honestly. I really don't like that. How many, did you see anything about Trump?
No Trump books anywhere.
Right.
So, obviously, Trump's no longer part of the scene, so all Trump books pulled, gone.
Wow.
At both airports. And not one book on Bernie Sanders. Not one.
Well, I can understand that, just in the Senate and hiding out a little bit. But I'm very surprised, especially with Trump, being that he is that
there was nothing.
Businessman and a marketer.
There was nothing there.
You would think.
Nothing there. I think the man's just disgraced himself out of publishing.
I don't know if it's disgrace, but the next few months will be very interesting over there.
Now, my friend. Let's have a second. Hang on. Beyond 3D. Now, this is all about you. Let's talk about this tonight I really interrupted you.
No, not at all. One of the things music is very important in life, and one of the bands that I used to listen to, because I was a bass player, and listening to this group was just an absolute amazement for me, especially back in the early 1980s, was the group called Rush from Toronto in Canada. And the thing I liked about them was they were musicians, but the lyrics that were written in a lot of the songs had an esoteric bent to them. And so I really was fascinated by the lyrics as well as the music. And it turns out that the drummer in this band, Neil Peart, is one of the best drummers going in rock and roll, in my opinion. And what happens is he's also a poet and an author, and so most of the lyrics are written by him, and he takes a very interesting tact on life and what's going on out there. He's looked at it from a fundamentalist Christian point of view and a lot of other points of view, including studying and being a fan of Ayn Rand and all those kinds of things. So when he writes lyrics, he writes them in a very esoteric way, which is really interesting to listen to, especially when you listen to most of the music that's out today, and the lyrics that are all about the lower chakras and how you can use them. He is a little more ethereal, more in the headspace with the lyrics, but at other times what he'll do is he will come up with a theme. And the theme we're going to play tonight took 30 to 35 years.
Hello, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask you how long, over what time period?
This goes probably from 1980 to, about 2015.
Those 4 songs?
For these 4 songs.
Wow.
And it is a series called Fear, and it's a very interesting series. So what we'll do is we'll start with the first song, and then we will take it from there. So what we will do is we will play the first song, which has a title called The Enemy Within, and then we will get back and we will see how we can see what kind of relevance that has to what's going on in our lives today.
Wow.
So there we have The Enemy Within. And I heard that song played live, and they actually sound better playing it live than they do in the studio to me, but it's very interesting, the lyric in and of itself.
Can you, for listeners who might have just turned on tonight,
yes,
tell them the name of that artist?
The band is called Rush. They are a power trio from Canada. They have been together for over 40 years now, and they are, in my opinion, the quintessential power trio. You cannot get any better than that.
That is the first time I've ever heard one of their songs.
That's very interesting.
Okay.
I find that very interesting.
So that's why during that song, while it was playing, I looked at you and I tried not to look at you, and I said to you, I'm not going to talk to you yet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have never heard of Rush, and I'm a big fan of the 80s music.
Mm-hmm.
That, what I just heard then, and I'm saying this in a complimentary way, was the kind of song that you'd see on an 80s movie where somebody's trying to overcome something and there's a montage of them going through a journey.
I can believe that, yeah.
That's what I was listening to just then. Now, but I was listening to the lyrics and they were very, very spot on. No wonder it took 35 years to write 4 songs.
Yeah, the theory of it behind it is that he would write, they were going through one thing that this band, to me, the thing I loved about them was they were always constantly trying to change the music. They would argue with the record company. They would all of a sudden, the record company would say, we need this little snippet here, 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 and here. We want you to put this out. They would come up with an 18-minute epic, and they would put something like that out. The lyrics mattered, and a lot of times what would happen is, and the way they would go about writing their music is, the drummer would bring in the lyrics. They would work on different choruses and different refrains and things along those lines, and then Geddy Lee, the bassist, would take the lyric that was written by Neil and he would say, okay, this is what I can use, this is what speaks to me, this doesn't. So he might give him 20 or 30 verses or lines and he might use only 4 or 5, and then he'll say, all right, I'm going to use these 4 or 5, I can write a chorus around this, and he'll give it back to the drummer and say, okay, come up with something that can fit.
If I said to you right now, I can show you the original lyrics for that song that had everything that was in there in its entirety, would you salivate, or have you already seen something like that?
Oh, I'd love it. I'd love to see everything.
Well, I don't. I'm sorry to disappoint, but I have nothing to show you.
It doesn't matter, but this is the way these guys work. But the lyric in and of itself about the enemy within, I thought is very interesting. And I went in, I did a little bit of research on that, and naturally, being that we're into it, Star Trek comes up, and I look at the one called. There was an episode called "The Enemy Within," where Captain Kirk has a transporter accident and comes back as two, the dualities.
Make sure you get this spot on, because I know there will be some Trekkies out there that will flip your car over in the car park.
The enemy within. Kirk had a transporter accident and splits into 2 people, one good and one evil.
From his perspective.
Well, it depends on your perspective.
Well, sometimes the evil people, from their perspective, they're doing good.
Well, that's the way, but this is the thing that came out. So that's one of the things, the dualities, everything that's going on within us. Suspicious-looking strangers can be within ourselves and things along those lines.
Ooh,
so
don't lock yourself in a room full of mirrors.
Yeah, please. Anyway, what I put down here, in the world of duality, humans fear the part of them that can be evil towards another. We all fight against the negatives that can come up. Today, it's the so-called elite that are out to get us and stop us from reaching both our material and spiritual goals. And I am, the Illuminati, the Masons, and all those kind of things, the Jesuits. And there is some truth to the fact that they do want control, but over what? What are they really looking for? And the thing with this song for me is...
I'm listening.
The thing is, for me, with this song, The Enemy Within, they can use that on you as well. That can be used against you.
It can be used against the majority of people.
Absolutely.
The majority. Mm-hmm. Now, I used to be one of those majority. But I have transgressed a little bit, and I've also grown a lot more.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And got to that point where, you read through... or you listen to those lyrics of The Enemy Within, and a lot of them aren't on a good path, but that's what that person was going through at that point in time. It's not necessarily who you are.
No, but it's a very good little snippet that you can look at and say, very interesting. And when you put it into this quatrain, for lack of a better term, it's very interesting to see exactly how they, over the years, have added to it and added to it and added to it. So what we will do is we will listen to part 2 of Fear, which is a tune called The Weapon, and different bit of music, different tack, interesting lyrics once again, but
I can't wait.
This is going to be interesting. Well, that was called The Weapon.
I love that.
Yeah.
I really did like that. That was really cool.
Oh, I can't get enough of them. As I said, they're one of my favorite bands to watch live, and I have just about every album they've made. So it's just really great. Now, as far as that song, what basically came to me with that was that which we fear can be used against us. Fear of death, and this is a fact. Fear of death is the biggest control mechanism on this planet. The world and the so-called elite control you with that fear. And, behave and you will go to the heaven worlds. If you don't behave, you will go to the hellish worlds. That's all a load of bull as far as I'm concerned. But this is what they can use to control people, and religion also all of a sudden steps into the picture. And you're left with a lot of fear and control mechanisms. So that is a very, very pertinent statement for these days as well, as far as I'm concerned. So it keeps people in line, religious and business-wise. Do what we say or you'll burn in that old cold hellfire. And that is...
That is... well, you said that's a Christian perspective.
It is.
Yep.
But other religions, in my opinion, are just as...
Absolutely. No, I just wanted to pull you up on that.
Just as archaic and nasty about it, in my opinion at least. And law in and of itself is a mechanism which can be used to keep people in line. The enemy without for the USA, Soviet Union, China, etc.
Put it this way. Let's be rational.
Okay, we can try.
Any god worth his salt wouldn't want people to fight people. Any god worth his salt would be peaceful. If man created it.
If it's created by men, there can be control mechanisms. If God created it and God created everything, why would you hate part of your creation?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a very valid point, and that's what's going on these days. It's my God is better than your God, this God is better than that. Come on.
But, let's use logic. If you had a belief in a God, then you would also have a belief in life and creation itself, where all life would be treated as sacred.
Precious, sacred, absolutely.
So what kind of God could you possibly follow that would want vengeance or look at itself as being above another kind of deity? How could you go? I don't. Sorry, am I being too logical?
No, not at all. It's not about you being logical. It's a valid point, quite frankly, and to me, at least, yeah, you question those things, but you're supposed to question, and any person worth their salt that would basically tell you, question everything.
Religion is a control mechanism.
Absolutely. It is a weapon. And that is my opinion.
Can I just say, if you wanted to really get into spirituality and religion, tune into Soul to Soul. Oh,
without a doubt.
If you're not listening to Soul to Soul, you're cheating yourself right now.
Yeah, you should be, because it's an absolutely fantastic show. Steve and Patrizia do such a fantastic job with it, and the people they have on there and what they get you to see and feel is just well worth it. So we would definitely recommend you always listen to that show as well.
Jump on the RPP website and have a look at when Soul to Soul is being put to air.
Usually on a Monday and a Thursday and a Sunday.
If you're here in this part of the world.
Absolutely. And Facebook and streaming is always quite good.
Excellent.
Anyway, what I want to do is get into part 3 of Fear, and in my opinion, this is my favorite of the 4. This song in general. It came out.
You had me at which?
It came out, I believe, 1981, 1982, an album called Moving Pictures that Rush did, and I saw them at Madison Square Garden in New York, and when I heard them play it, and I went home, looked at the album, and I went and looked at the album cover, the insert, and I looked at the lyrics, and I went, wow. It's really interesting, especially in rock and roll and stuff like that, to have a group that was actually putting philosophical lyrics, in a sense, out there, I think is extremely, extremely important. So, this song, in my opinion, out of the 4, is my favorite. We will get into it, give you guys a listen, and then we will come back and have a small discussion on this point. Beyond 3, D. Well, as I said, that to me was my favorite, but I love the righteous rise with burning eyes of hatred and ill will, madmen fed on fear and lies to breed and burn.
Like I said, you had me at witch.
The Witch Hunt, the name of that one. And that is today again. I mean, righteousness, politics. And the other thing that came up for me was the Hegelian dialectic and how that is used to control.
Features distorted in the flickering light. The faces are twisted and grotesque. Silent and stern in the sweltering night. The mob moves like demons possessed.
Yes.
It's just like crossing live with a film crew, isn't it? At a distorted view of what's really happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why when I read that, I was like, that really hooked me into the band. And from that point on, it was like, I like what these guys are doing. So therefore, that was it for me. That's all I needed to hear. And you get great music behind it. I mean, you can't ask for anything more as far as I'm concerned.
I'm rapt we're doing this tonight.
Yeah, it's fun.
This is great, Matt. I've never heard of this band before. I'm serious. You've treated me. It's like Christmas.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is it's a great situation if they're getting up there, like they're in their early 60s now.
Yep.
But the fact of the matter is, if you want to get the DVD and just watch them play live, because you go, how in God's name can three guys do all of that? So singing, playing bass, and the Taurus foot pedals at the same time, both of them are there, and then the guitarist is doing the same thing, and then you got a drum kit going on.
I heard some synths.
There are synths in there as well, but they're playing all that stuff at the same time using triggers. Today it makes it a lot easier, but back when they did this, it was not as easy to get done. So they did a really excellent job on it. But as I was saying, so agendas, centralization of power, then you have thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, and the way people are controlled. So I don't know, when you're in it's 1980s, the early 1980s, the world is going on, Ronald Reagan is president, you're looking at what's going on in the world, and something like this comes up, and it's almost like a battle cry.
This is totally something I would not expect to come out of the 80s at all.
Yeah.
At all. I loved the 80s. I grew up then as a child, and everything was just excessively ridiculous.
Yeah, but quite frankly, these guys were on the fringe in a sense.
Yep.
But the fringe still meant you'd have 20,000 people sitting up in Madison Square Garden you'd sell your concert out.
Yeah.
Because they're really, really great musicians as well. But it's fascinating to listen to this kind of music, and I think it's just as pertinent today. It still sounds fresh. Some of the synths that you hear, you basically can date it. Synthesizers and the way they did things back then, you really could figure out what era you were in just by the synths.
I'm not knocking it. It makes my heart swell.
I just love it. I absolutely love it.
If I had one.
If you had one, huh?
Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah, but this is the thing. So with this band, I just find them fantastic. There's something esoteric I won't go into in this week's show. I'll discuss it with Clint later, and we'll bring it up in a couple of weeks. But it's about this, but it's a pertinent point. But I have to think about it first before I make it. But we're going to
spit it out.
No, I can't do it. We will go into part 4 of Fear.
I hate it when you do that. I hate it.
We will go into part 4 of Fear, and part 4 of Fear is called Freeze. Now, this is the last part, obviously, that was written, and it's very interesting. You will notice the music is a little more up to date, a little bit fresher in that regard.
Stop right there. Every song every one of these 3 songs for me has gotten better and better because it's changed.
Well,
the tempo's changed, the instruments have changed, the dark and light tones have changed. I'm really looking forward to this last one.
It'll be good. And there you have it, part 4 of Fear from the group Rush, and that was called Freeze. And for that song, go ahead, Clint, I see you have your hand up.
You freeze.
No, okay, I'll freeze. You go ahead.
That was totally different.
It was.
I said to you while that was playing, is this a recent song?
Yes.
Because you could tell, because that song sounded a lot clearer. When I say cleaner. The song sounded a lot cleaner than the other ones. But I'm really digging this, Matt. Thank you.
No problem whatsoever. You're more than welcome. But what I'm saying about that, what I take from that, the dualities, we are both light and dark, wrong and right. Something shatters our paradigms and we freeze, too scared to go forward into the new light and too scared to admit that our old ways are ignorant and no longer serve.
I know many people like that. Many people.
Yeah, I agree. So do I. So we freeze out of fear. No way, for example, no way was that UFO I saw couldn't possibly be. Everyone, if I say that's true and I did actually see that, everyone will think I'm crazy. So what people then say is something along the lines of, prove it to me with my 5 mundane senses or it doesn't exist. And that, in my opinion, is a fool's mentality. Because we have so much more than our senses.
For 1 second then, I thought you were telling me that you had seen something.
No.
But then I realised what you were talking about. Yep.
Yeah,
freezing.
It's
the fear that stops you from progressing forward.
Absolutely.
Opening your mouth.
And that's what'll happen. People will just say, no. If I can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, don't bother me with it. I don't want to know.
But see, I like finding those people and prodding them. And
you have to prod them.
You have to have fun with them and make them think outside the box and take them out of their comfort zones.
And it's a lot of fun to do that kind of thing.
In a safe way.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't want to do anything to, damage them mentally in any way, shape, or form. But the fact of the matter remains that, for me at least, the freezing aspect of things that's what keeps us stagnant, that's what keeps us stuck. We need to move beyond, and the only way to do that is to open up your mind to the different possibilities that are out there and to just say, hey, wait a minute. Things can change. So all those guys that now deal with string theory, if they went back to Sir Isaac Newton's time, they would be looked upon as madmen. And today it's an accepted theory.
That had those lobotomies done where they tapped them in the forehead with the silver spike.
So
Problem solved.
That's literally what it comes down to for me. So thank you guys for listening to that aspect of things. I just love that group, and what I like listening to when it comes to music is stimulating lyrics and stimulating music, and I think that group really provides both in many different ways.
That's thank you, Matt, for doing that tonight. I loved it.
They're great. You gotta listen to more stuff. It's just that's one little aspect of them. There's hundreds upon hundreds of songs that they've written, and they're all very interesting, to say the least.
And that last song cost $2.19 on the iTunes store.
Oh, there you go.
So,
and one of the albums they did actually is based around the whole steampunk movement.
Oh, now you had me.
Yeah, and that I can get. Some of that stuff is outrageous.
Cool.
Some of the things, the anarchists and working those angels and songs like that. They're really good stuff.
Let's look at that one, mate.
We will. It's worth it. They're just that good to me. So worth it. Ooh, I can try to get them on for an interview.
Let's see what you can do.
I got news. I can try.
You've trumped me the last couple of weeks, but that's cool. That's cool. We've had our fun together.
Absolutely. So that, for me, is what this week was about. It was a little self-indulgent, but I really believe the guys would like listening to music that was made in the 80s and coming forward that literally had a beautiful way of writing both music and lyrics and poetry, in a sense. And it's pertinent, it's today, it's fresh, even though it was written 30 years ago, and it's relevant.
I find it amazing, considering what society was like back then, that these guys could produce this quality.
Well, under the radar, in a sense.
Yeah. But that they were so switched on at the time, when around them was nothing but pollution and excess.
They stuck to it, and I think that's a really great thing, and they're still doing it today, and hopefully they can continue on for a bit. As I said, we're all aging, but in a sense. But their music is just fantastic, and they can, today on stage, they're just as good as they were in the 80s as far as I'm concerned. And they've honed their skills so much better that, wow, really, really great stuff to listen to. So
you had me at which?
Yep, there you go, Hunt.
Speaking of which,
yes.
Hang on a sec. Beyond,
3,
D. Now, speaking of hunting, this Egyptian plane.
An enigma so far. Have they found anything new that you know of?
Look, even what is told isn't really what's told. You know, I cannot put my faith in what information is coming my way at the moment.
Right. I haven't heard too much. I'm still not sure whether it went down in the water or whether it went down over land.
It was water.
It was water.
It was water.
Well, good luck finding it.
Yeah, but that was MS 804.
804, yeah.
804. You know, I'm still hanging on MH370.
There was a very interesting video I saw. I'll put it up on the Facebook page, that was about USOs, undersea objects. And what was stated in the video was the fact that 90% of the oceans are still uncharted.
Oh, we know more about the moon than we do the ocean.
Exactly. So if something goes under like that, good luck finding it because of everything that's going on down there. But there's some very interesting little structures you can see on Google Earth. And Secure Team 10, once again, they had a video up and I watched it, and it was actually really, really good when it went down and showed what was going on, and he could put in the sizes of these different things that are moving under there. And tracks are being created 25,000 feet under the seabed.
Was it you or was it Steve who, you know how you and I and Steve have that three-way chat thing that happens with our phones? Was it you or was it Steve who sent me the thing about the Google Earth photos where you could see structures through water? Like lakes which had cities underneath the bottom of the lakes. That would be
Steve, more than likely,
yeah. That was cool.
Well, this one is along those lines, but there is literally, when you look at it, it looks like a snake-like movement, and you can see that's a track, and it goes around, and at the end of this track, there is this beautiful circular craft, whatever it is, that you can see has made this track. But this circular craft is 2 miles wide.
hang on. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you the pictures of it, and it's very interesting when you look at it. And I mean perfectly
Just
circular.
Just while you're pulling out your phone now, can you just put the link on Facebook?
I will put that link up, and it'll be showing up in about a minute or so. So that will be up there, and people can look at that vid as well.
Cool.
Fascinating stuff. But I'm really interested in what's going on underneath, because what we're starting to learn in a lot of these shows is that a lot of stuff is going on beneath our feet.
And can I also just... Those people out there that are still claiming or still believing in the Earth being flat, I'm hearing so much about this lately, Matt. People saying to me, hey, have you heard about this new theory about the Earth actually really being flat, even though it was debunked? I just go, please go stand in the corner. Go stand in the corner and have a think about what you're saying.
Unbelievable.
Okay? You are buying into ridiculous hysteria.
Mm-hmm. Flat. Okay.
Some people's heads are flat.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Some people still need lobotomies if they're going to believe that kind of thing. But yeah, it's fascinating what is going on beneath our feet, I think. And what's happening is we're constantly looking to the sky. Mm-hmm. We need to start exploring the planet underneath the oceans and see what's really happening down there, because there are really some interesting bids of showing things that are up in space, but then underneath they go. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Let's just encourage everybody just to jump on Google Earth and go for a spin. Download
the program. At the beginning of it, when it first came out, I was very hesitant to use it and everything like that. But now, based on what it can do...
Why?
The technology was very new, and when technology is new, there's a lot of bugs and everything in it. I want them to get rid of the glitches and the bugs, and then I'll get into it. You're one of those people. Yeah, I like them. Don't test it on somebody else, not on me.
Okay.
But once that's been done, what you're starting to see underneath the oceans is Google is starting to do what NASA did on the moon with certain photographs.
Mm-hmm.
Blur things out.
Because if you're interested, go have a look who owns Google. Who really owns Google. Go check it out.
Yeah, I won't say anything.
If Google will let you.
I won't say a word, but you'll be surprised.
So,
well, maybe you won't.
Well, again, they only let you see what they want you to see.
Well, therefore, I'll get into that later.
You and your laters.
Look, we can go on and on and on and on and on, but time constraints say that we're done for this week.
Really?
Yes, it is. That's it. Done and dusted. So thank you guys for listening into this week's edition of Beyond 3D. We will return next week with a very special guest. And I think you want to tune in for that one as well. It'll be very, very interesting.
I've had a really good time this week, and I'm happy to be back.
Oh, I'm glad you're back as well.
I can't wait till next week's show.
We have a lot of work to do on that still, so we have to get to it. So, guys, you have a great week, and we will catch you next week for another edition of Beyond 3D.
Check you guys. Bye.
Just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.